A design agency would charge you $10,000 to build a website that looks like this. Claude can build the exact same thing in an afternoon for free. But here's the catch: 9 out of 10 people who try get something that looks cheap, generic, like every other AI website on the internet. And the reason isn't the AI, it's one word you keep typing into it. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to hand you 7 prompts, the same brief a real design studio would write, that turn Claude from a mediocre intern into a senior designer. And every single website you're about to see, Claude built it using exactly these prompts. Let's go. First, that one word. Watch what most people type. Make it modern, make it clean, make it sleek. The problem is that modern is an average. And when you ask an AI for the average, you get the boring, forgettable default that everyone else gets too. Adjectives are wishes. They are not a brief. A real agency never briefs a designer with make it nice. They hand over references, a color system, a name style, and a set of rules. So here's the line I want you to remember: Claude isn't a bad designer. You're just a bad creative director. Stop giving it adjectives and start giving it a brief. These 7 prompts are that brief. Number 1 is the most powerful and almost nobody uses it. Technique 1: show, don't tell. Claude can see. You can paste a screenshot of any website you admire straight into Claude, and it will read the spacing, the type, the color, the density, far more precisely than it will ever understand a word like premium. But here's the move almost everyone misses: don't ask it to copy the screenshot. Ask it to reverse engineer the design language first and write you a spec. The color palette as hex codes, the font pairing, the size jumps between headings, the spacing rhythm, the feeling in 3 words. Make it commit to the specifics before it writes a single line of code. So find one site on or words or linear or stripe that makes you a little jealous. Screenshot it and say, don't build anything yet. Just extract the design language and write it back to me as a spec. That one reframe is the difference between a cheap knockoff and a site that inherits real taste. Technique 2: tokens before components. This is the secret behind why agency websites feel so tight. Everything lines up. The colors obviously belong together. The corners all match. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because professionals define a design system first. And then every button, every card, every section inherits from it. So before Claude writes any interface, tell it, define the tokens first. A color palette with named roles: background, surface, primary, accent, muted, border. A type scale with a fixed ratio. An 8-point spacing system. Radius and shadow tokens. One single source of truth. Then give it the rule: every component you build may only use these tokens. No random hex codes, no one-off pixel values. This is the screen you're looking at right now. That's a real design system Claude generated from one prompt. Build from that, and your site becomes structurally incapable of looking sloppy. Technique 3: name the aesthetic. This is the fastest upgrade on the entire list. Instead of modern, name an actual design movement. Because a named style comes with a rulebook that Claude already knows. Watch what one word does. Say Swiss design, and you get this: a visible grid, huge type, brutal white space, one accent color, total restraint. Say glassmorphism, and you get this: depth, blur, glowing gradients, frosted panels. Say neo-brutalism, and you get this: raw, loud, thick borders, acid color, zero apology. Same request. 3 words, 3 completely different, completely intentional websites. And not one of them looks like the generic AI default. Editorial, Bauhaus, brutalist, Swiss. Pick the language that fits your brand and hand Claude the rulebook instead of a vibe. Vague in, vague out. Specific in, stunning out. Technique 4: build on real foundations. Here's where the pros separate from the amateurs. When you let Claude handwrite CSS from scratch, you get components that look okay but break, drop downs that aren't keyboard accessible, dialogues that trap your focus, inconsistent everything. Instead, tell Claude to build with shadcn and Tailwind. And one quick truth, because people get this wrong all the time. Shadcn is not a component library you install. It's a collection of beautifully designed component code that you copy straight into your own project, built on top of something called Radix, which handles all the accessibility, the keyboard navigation, the focus, the screen reader support for free. And Tailwind version 4 lets you wire your design tokens right into the theme. So you say, use shadcn components, wire in my tokens, keep all the styling in Tailwind. Now, every menu, every dialog, every tab looks handcrafted and behaves like a real product. That's the difference between a demo and something you'd actually ship. Technique 5. Never accept the first idea. When you give Claude one prompt, you get its safest, most average answer. Literally, the first thing it thought of. But a real agency never shows a client one concept. They show three. So do exactly that. Tell Claude, give me three genuinely distinct directions, not three color swaps of the same layout. Direction A, bold and editorial. Direction B, calm and premium, lots of white space. Direction C, high energy, saturated, unconventional. Render all three side by side. And now, you're not a prompter anymore. You're the creative director. You look at three real options. You pick the winner, and you tell Claude which pieces to merge. Take the headline from A, the color from C. That is how studios actually work, and it costs you exactly one prompt. Technique 6. Make it move with intention. Here's what silently screams expensive on a website. It's not the colors, it's the motion. Sections that gently rise into view as you scroll. Buttons that respond the instant your cursor touches them. Nothing abrupt, nothing janky. The amateur tell is motion that's either missing completely or way too much. So be specific. Tell Claude to use motion. That's the animation library that used to be called Framer Motion. And ask for the exact behavior. Scroll, reveal that fades and lifts elements in by about 16 pixels. A short stagger between items in a group. A custom ease out curve, never linear. Durations between 2 and 500 milliseconds. And respect reduced motion for accessibility. Motion should reward attention, not demand it. Get this one right, and a flat, static template suddenly feels like a living, breathing product. Technique 7, and this is the one that closes the gap completely. Here is Claude's single biggest blind spot. It writes the code, but it cannot see what that code actually looks like when it renders. It is designing with its eyes closed, so you become its eyes. Render the page, take a screenshot, and paste it right back to Claude with this instruction. Critique this like a senior art director doing a design review and be harsh. Is there one clear focal point? Does the hierarchy survive a 3-second squint test? Is anything cramped or floating? Then fix the top 3 problems and re-render. Watch this. This is version 1. Flat. Everything competing for attention. And this is the same site after 2 rounds of that screenshot and critique loop. That is the glow up. And if you use Claude Code, you can make this run completely automatically. It drives a real browser through the Playwright tool, screenshots its own work, critiques it, and fixes it on a loop until the design holds up. Claude becomes its own art director. So let's put the whole brief together. 7 prompts. Show a reference and extract the design language. Define your tokens before any component. Name a real aesthetic instead of a vibe. Build on shadcn and Radix. Demand 3 directions, then merge. Add motion with intention. And close the loop with screenshots. None of these are tricks. This is simply what a real design studio does. And now you can hand that exact brief to Claude for free. So remember the one line. It was never a bad designer. You were just briefing it like a wish instead of a brief. Fix that one thing, and the $10,000 website is a single afternoon away. Now I packaged all 7 of these prompts. The full copy and paste, word for word versions, the exact ones I used to build every site in this video into one free design brief kit. To get it, just comment the word agency on this video and I'll send it straight to you. If you want to go deeper, I've got premium guides on Claude Code and building with AI, all linked down in the description. I post quick I build tips every single day on Instagram and on Facebook, both at Hyper Automation Labs and the full deep dives, like this one right here on YouTube. So do 3 quick things. Subscribe here on YouTube, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and grab that free kit by commenting agency. Then go build something that doesn't look like everyone else's. I'll see you in the next one.